Hello friends, welcome to the class on Consumer Behavior. Today we discuss the topic Psychoanalytic Model of Consumer Behavior. This model is one of the traditional models on consumer behavior. The psychoanalytic model analyzes the mind and its processes to find out the nature and formation of human behavior. The psychoanalytic theory is basically a personality theory in psychology developed by Sigmund Freud. According to this, an individual gets motivated more by unseen forces, and behavior is formed when these unseen forces are controlled by the conscious and rational thought. Psychoanalytic model explains consumer behavior as a resultant of forces that operate at subconscious level. The model says that consumption behavior and decision making are dependent on a number of forces operating at a subconscious level. Many of the causes of such behavior are not visible to other people. Sometimes they may not be realized and understood even by the person himself. We can examine this model in detail. The theory says that the human behavior is formed through the interaction between three components of the mind called id, superego and ego. You can see here three components of mind. These three together constitute the human mind. Among these three, id is the biggest and strongest part. Therefore, it has the maximum influence in the functioning of mind. Id is the unconscious part of mind. This is formed at the birth itself. It is the place where all the emotions, instincts, feelings, experiences, etc. are stored. All of our genuine feelings and emotions are coming from this part of mind. That means id is responsible for what we feel and think naturally. As already mentioned, id is with us from our birth onwards, and therefore all default settings of emotions and feelings are seen here. That is why it is said that id shows the natural feelings of a human being. All kinds of experiences and feelings that the person go through later during his lifetime will be automatically added to this id, and they will be stored there for a long period. It functions naturally, and the person has no control over this part of mind. Id follows pleasure principle. It means that id is not considering whether an action or feeling is right or wrong and whether it is good or bad, but consider whether it gives enjoyment and pleasure to the person. Sometimes such urges from the id may be illegal or antisocial. By default settings, there is nothing good or bad and there is nothing right or wrong. All these ethical and legal considerations are the creations of society, and these are not seen in id. It desires for food when it feels hungry and wants to get water when thirsty. Sexual desires are also coming from this part of mind. Id is typically instinctual, and therefore it is impulsive and often unaware of implications of actions. The next part is superego. Superego is related to the social or the moral values that an individual inculcates as he matures. Instead of instinctively acting like the id, the superego works to act in socially acceptable ways. Superego tries to create socially acceptable behavior. This part is added to the mind after birth. Psychology says that superego is formed in human beings at the age of 4. It is not seen in little children. When a child grows, he knows that there are some do's and don'ts in the world, and the mind is creating this part called superego to store such things. In this area, the social values, general do's and don'ts, moral principles, general culture of society, etc. are stored. This is a highly sensible area of mind. It employs morality, include judging methods of humans, and also the sense of wrong and right or good and bad. The third part is ego. We could see that id is quite natural and it may think and feel anything. It has no morality and ethics. It looks only for pleasure. On the other side, there is a superego. Superego keeps values and ethics, and it always advises the humans to be right, valuable, sincere, and ethical. Sometimes the two extremes developed in id and superego create conflicts in the mind. In this situation, a third part is necessary to compromise in between id and superego. This third part is called ego. It is highly practical and normally it neither allows the person to behave as directed by id nor completely follows the virtue advices of superego. It is the logical and mostly the conscious part of the mind which is associated with the reality principle. I may try to explain this with an example. Just imagine a celebration where a birthday party of your friend is going on. You are also attending the party. Almost all of your friends and classmates are there. You are very happy to attend this party because your beloved boyfriend is also there. Suddenly, you happen to see that your boyfriend enjoys some happy moments with another girl by singing and dancing with her. What would you feel? Can you control your anger then? Can you control your jealousy? Can you control your hatred towards them? From where these feelings and emotions came out? These feelings and emotions came out from id. Id is not under the control of the person or the owner of mind. Even the mind owner is unaware of its contents. The person doesn't know when these urges, feelings and emotions would come out. Let's continue the example. How did you react then in the above situation? You very well know that you are attending a party and a number of invited guests are there and it is not the right time to think and behave badly. But you are unable to control your feelings. You tried hard to control yourself and to behave in a sensible and acceptable way, but could not control and finally felt that it would be better leaving the place as early as possible. Thus, you left the party early, saying that you were not well or feeling something like a headache. On one part of your mind, the uncontrollable anger and hatred are bursting out. But on another part, you try to control your feelings and emotions by yourself. You tried to believe that it is a birthday party and everybody is enjoying, a number of guests are there. It would be very awkward if any misbehavior is shown in this time. These pacifying thoughts are also with you. These thoughts are coming out from the part of mind known as superego. It is in that area of our mind where we have kept our principles, policies, and values. Little children express their emotions at any time, any place. You might have noticed little children often pressurize parents by crying or expressing anger in an aggressive way to buy ice cream or some sweets when walk along with an ice cream parlor or a bakery shop. When children walk along with the toys shop, they demand for toys. And when they walk along with the textile shop, they ask for dress. Actually, these children are expressing their real mind. They are not like elders. When you walk along with your parents and see an ice cream parlor, you may not create such scenes. It is not because of your dislike to ice cream, but because of your sensible presence of mind. In our birthday party example also, you tried to behave well as far as possible. This is because of the influence of your superego. Little children under the age of 4 do not have the superego. Therefore, they usually do not consider the social values and morality principles. Superego follows morality principles. In our birthday party example, you simply left the party saying that you were not well or feeling headache. Actually, it was the strategy of your mind to make the situation socially acceptable. You neither burst out as urged by the id, nor enjoyed the situation by singing and dancing along with your friends as demanded by your superego. You selected an action which is somewhere in between these two extremes. This is the ego which urged you to behave in that way. This means that ego balances the urges of id and superego in the context of real life situations. The ego works to balance the id and superego by trying to achieve the id's drive in the most realistic way. From this discussion, it is very clear that the behavior expressed by human beings is mostly an edited version of the actual feelings and emotions, as long as superego strongly exists. Therefore, the human behavior is usually compared to an iceberg seen in the sea. Actually, the behavior shown by human beings is compared to the tip of an iceberg. The major portion of this iceberg is below the sea level. Only a little part is seen outside. That means only a smaller portion of mind is shown outside in the form of behavior. In psychology, the mind has been classified on the basis of human awareness or consciousness. The fully aware part is called conscious mind, and the part which is not known is called unconscious mind. Freud says that it is the unconscious that express the true feelings, emotions and thoughts of the individual. It is very difficult to know what all are contained and stored in the unconscious part. In psychology, certain psychoanalytic techniques such as hypnosis, free association and dream analysis are used to access the contents of this area. Now we can look at the application areas of psychoanalytic model in consumer behavior. According to this model, the individual consumer has a complex set of deep-rooted drives that motivate him towards certain buying decisions. The buyer has a private world with all his hidden fears, suppressed desires, and totally subjective longings. The psychoanalytic model says that the consumer behavior is influenced by both the conscious and the unconscious mind. It has been identified that even a symbol, logo, or a name may have an effect on a person's subconscious mind and may influence him to buy that product instead of a similar product from another company. It has also been identified that some designs and colors have impact in creating positive and negative images regarding the product in the minds of consumers. Proper studies on this area enables marketers to create desires and favorable attitudes towards certain products. According to the model, Buyers' needs and desires operate at several levels of consciousness. Not all of the behavior is understandable and explainable by the person. From the marketing point of view, this means that buyers will be influenced by symbolic factors in buying a product. Motivational researchers are using this model to develop suitable marketing implications accordingly. Marketers are using this approach to generate ideas for developing products. Marketers are also using this model in creating advertisements and other promotional techniques. Some marketers apply this psychoanalytic theory to create brand image. If a brand can appeal to a deep wish or fantasy, then consumers may equate a brand or such products with their desires. Researchers who apply Freud's theory to the study of consumer personality opine that human drives are largely unconscious and the consumers are primarily unaware of their true reasons for their buying behavior. This helps the marketers to know how buyers are influenced by symbolic factors in buying a product. It will help marketers in developing product positioning strategies which may influence consumers even without conscious participation of them. The psychoanalytic model opens a number of opportunities to know and assess the human mind and its preferences. The researchers are still continuing their efforts to find out what really the human mind seeks and what all can attract and motivate it. Now we can look at some criticisms on this model. Major criticism is that it is very much focused on pathology. It means that this model is trying to find out causes and reasons for human behavior. Thus, it is highly focusing the inner minds of humans. This is not easy to assess properly. Another criticism is that the theory lacks consideration of culture and its influence on personality. Another criticism is that this model doesn't give any importance to the economic aspects of consumer behavior. Income of the consumer, price of the product, etc. are very relevant in formulating consumer buying behavior. But all these are ignored here, and it concentrates only on human mind and its emotions and desires. Okay, hope that the psychoanalytic model is clear to you. We can meet in the next class with another topic. Thank you.